Cain Velasquez, man. Cain Velasquez. I gotta say, this is one crazy, crazy story. This is not something that you expect to hear, especially from Cain Velasquez, right? I mean, the last time we saw Cain Velasquez in there was February 17th, 2019. And that was against Francis Ngannou. Now, he lost that fight by KO. He was stopped. Of course, part of that was due to an injury. And then from there, we haven't really seen Cain in the octagon. We saw him show up with for pro wrestling, but besides that, we haven't really seen him active in combat competition. But recently, there's been a pretty shocking story going. First of all, this fight that you guys are about to watch right now, I mean, the two fights you're about to watch, these are not live commentary. It's just two fights I recorded. It's going to be like a backdrop for this topic I'm going to cover right now. So yeah, there will be no commentary, no live commentary on this one. But I don't know if you guys have seen the news. Cain Velasquez apparently has been arrested and charged 6 counts. One of them being attempted murder. Which, the first time I read that, I mean, it was like, this is a joke. Like, because I saw it on one of those, like, Twitter accounts, posted. I'm like, yeah, this is a massive joke. Then I saw the mugshot, and of course what came to my mind is it possible Cain Velasquez has been arrested in the past, and they're using his old mugshot to kind of troll and tell a lie, you know what I mean? Like, to post a stupid, ugly, nasty story that's not true. But then I look at the mugshot, I'm like, no, this is Cain now. This is not young Cain Velasquez. And he looked so unbothered in the mugshot. And so, at first, of course, we didn't really know what the fuck happened. All we knew was he was arrested for attempted murder. Now, more information has come out, and apparently, Cain shot at a man who allegedly molested one of Cain's relatives over 100 times. And the story is that this dude was released from jail recently, and then 3 days later, Cain Velasquez pretty much chased him down with his car. The man who was chasing down, apparently, there were three people in the car. His stepdad and someone else was in the car. Cain chased them down apparently for 11 miles, something like that. Rammed them with the car, and then opened fire on the car, and actually hit an unintended target. He hit the man's stepdad. That is the story. Of course, cops show up. Cain Velasquez gets arrested. A semi-automatic weapon is found on him, plus a bunch of shells. And that's all we know so far. We don't know the identity of the victim, of course, because that's a minor. But that's pretty much all we know. That is the story. And then, like, it leads to you start to wonder, okay, like, how do you feel about it, right? On one hand, we all know how we feel about people that do what that dude did in terms of, like, molesting kids. Like, it is a gruesome act. It's not something that you really take lightly. It's not something that a vast majority of people in today's society, thank God, don't really look too kindly on that. There's something when it comes to kids, you know, society as a whole really holds children dear to their hearts, and that's good. That's a sign of an advanced society, a modern society, a society that's not backwards. That's a very good sign when you have a society that holds children, kids in high regard. And so when you violate that, yeah, people get mad. They get real mad. And as men, like, we've all had those moments where you think, I mean, I have 2 daughters. You know what I mean? I have 2 kids, both of them girls. And I've had moments like that where I think to myself, like, what would happen if something like that were to happen to them? And every single thought that comes to my mind is of insane violence. We're talking law-abiding citizen levels of violence where you capture whoever the fuck did it, you tie them down, and then you dismember them limb from limb, and you do it with a smile on your face. That level, you know what I mean? It's a very, very gruesome thing to even imagine happening to someone that you love. It is a gross, unforgivable violation. So I understand the emotion, the raw emotion that Cain Velasquez must have been under when he decided to disregard human life. Because that's pretty much what he did. Not only did he open fire on a freaking vehicle, he actually hit someone he wasn't intended to hit. That's what happens when you're overcome with rage, where you're blinded by vengeance, the need to get revenge. That's what happens. You become an extremely dangerous person. And you don't just become dangerous to the person that you're trying to get. You become dangerous to everyone, including people that are innocent. And so, on one hand, I completely understand Cain in that sense. On the other hand, this shows you why it's good to just leave the law in the hands of the law. You know what I mean? Like, justice is not always served. I mean, it's an imperfect, a very, very flawed and imperfect system. And in a lot of ways, the old ways of doing things is very admirable. Like, we take a look at, like, in old cultures, even the culture in Nigeria where I grew up in. I mean, I still remember armed robbers getting burned alive in the street. You know, a tire put over their neck, pour gasoline on them, set them on fire. Like I still remember those kinds of things happening. You know, street justice, that kind of shit. You take a look at that and you're like, man, there's some crimes where, dude, this person does not fucking deserve due process. Like, fuck. It's so bad. You're like, dude, just take him out back, shoot him in the head, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But when you also look at it on the other side, you start to understand why the law is the way it is, why you don't take matters into your own hands. Because when you take matters into your own hands, a lot of times innocent people pay for it. Innocent people pay for your rage, for your anger. And that is what happened right here. This is a very serious thing. This is a very, very serious crime. Because Cain, not only was he charged with attempted murder, it was actually premeditated, which is a completely different thing. I'm not a fucking lawyer, but I've seen enough all these crime series I've seen enough of them to know that whenever they tack on the word premeditated, that's a big deal. Because, like, you can't say I was overcome, it was a crime of passion, or I was overcome by rage, I was blinded by rage, I was temporarily insane out of anger, I didn't know what I was doing. But when you get in your car and you put the keys in the ignition and you start it and you start driving it and you drive 11 miles, it takes a while to drive 11 miles. That is considered enough time for you to snap out of whatever rage is consuming you. That's enough time for you to snap out of it. But when you keep going and you keep going and you keep going, and then you catch up to them, then you get out of the car, then you take the gun out, you cock the gun, and then you point the gun and you start shooting it. All of that, this is exactly how they're going to paint the picture. This is a man who knew exactly what he was doing. This wasn't a man who was just completely overcome by madness, anger, and just lost control. No, this was a man that was right under control. He knew exactly what he was doing, and they're going to also point out the fact that this is a trained mixed martial arts fighter, you know, who should be able to control his emotions. They're gonna paint Cain in a very, very, very negative light. They're going to paint him out to be a menace to society, a man who's just so deadly and so dangerous. I mean, look at him chasing down and opening fire. He could have killed somebody, you know. He could have hit an innocent person, which he did, but who knows how many other innocent people he could have hit. So it's just overall, man, all around, it is a bad, bad situation, you know. I understand Cain, but it would have been so much better if he had not done this. It would have been so much better if he would have just let the law take care of this, as opposed to turning into a vigilante and taking matters into his own hands. Because now he's not just going to get off, man. I don't see it. I don't see a situation where he gets a slap on the wrist. I mean, this is the sort of thing where there's a very good chance he's going to serve jail time, like significant jail time, where, like, especially if that dude presses charges, like, there's so many layers to this. But this is all we know so far. And I think in time we're going to hear more. And my hope, especially for Cain, is that my hope for him is that something else will come out. You know what I mean? Something else will come out with this story, and it'll help him out. I don't see it, but that's the hope. This man is a legend. He's done so much for the sport of MMA, and he was doing this out of love. He was doing it out of love. But yeah, you guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this whole story. Where do you fall? Where do you fall on it? Do you agree with what Cain did? Do you think that he should have left this in? He shouldn't have taken this matter into his own hands? Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought about it, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, let's look at this second fight right here. This is against DC. As I hit him right there in the body, sit him down. This dude, I remember this fight right here. This dude I was fighting, he was doing some very interesting things with, right there, with his slips. He would enter the pocket, and he would fake to the body, and then follow up with a cross to the head. He did it a few times. And in the first few rounds, I was trying to see if I can get a read on his pattern. What exactly is he doing? Because he was confusing me a little bit. And in the heavyweight division, like, you don't want to get confused too much, because these guys hit too hard. They hit too hard. It's not going to take a lot of shots for you to get sat down. And so, right here, I knew there was a lot of weird shit that he was doing, but I couldn't get a read on it. But you'll see later on in the fight, we're going to read him perfectly, and we're going to counter it very well. So the goal, of course, when you're facing DC, I've said this before, the goal is to try to work his body. You want to tag his body as much as you can. If you're using a long fighter with very good kicks, you want to go for, right there he sets me down. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I'm getting butchered right here. But yeah, with Cain, with DC, you want to use your teeps, you want to use your roundhouse kicks to the body, you want to use your cross to the body, your jab to the body, your uppercut to the body, your hooks to the body. You want to take every opportunity to hit the body. As I get rocked again, of course, you also want to sit him down. You want to use your knees if you've got knees. If your fighter has knees, you want to use that as well. John Jones showed a very good blueprint on how to beat DC. He worked his body very, very well. And then, of course, Stipe Miocic worked that body as well in the second fight. You know, with his body shots, he was able to knock out DC. So if you look at DC's health stats in the game, you'll notice that his body health is fairly low. It's actually noticeably low. So if you work his body consistently, you're going to find a lot of success. So just keep that in mind anytime you're facing DC. One more thing, if you're facing a DC fighter that's trying to take you down, it will be better for you to force takedowns. Don't let them dictate when they shoot on you. Don't be afraid to enter the pocket. I know the fear. I know what you're afraid of. Man, if I enter the pocket, then I'm right there for him to grab. Don't be afraid of that. Because one thing you're going to find is that a lot of players, especially smart players, if they know that you're in front of them and you're throwing combinations at them, they know that shooting a takedown could run them headfirst into a shot. And a lot of smart players, they'll become very wary of that, because the last thing they want to do is shoot a takedown in the same exact moment that you're throwing an uppercut. You know what I mean? So try to sneak in uppercut combinations in there. Jab, straight, uppercut, left hook, uppercut, jab, uppercut, straight lead, uppercut. Just add uppercuts to your combinations in the pocket as a way to kind of derail them from shooting takedowns, and then push. What you want is a situation where if they're shooting on your terms. You're forcing the shot. If you force the shot, you have a better chance of dealing with the shot. So right here, you'll notice I'm going to start paying attention to what he's doing. I'm going to start making the read properly. And what I noticed was that he's faking to the body, and then he's going for a cross to the head. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the fake to the body. I'm going to let him throw the cross to the head. I'm going to slip, and I'm going to counter. So just pay attention to this. He's also doing the side slip into an uppercut. And right there, I know it's a side control transition, which this is my first, I think this is my first time actually seeing a character with that transition, which to me is like, it's pretty damn awesome. And then right here, I'm going to go to backside. I believe I went to backside from here to see if I have access to that side control transition again. But I didn't. I just had sprawl right there. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I guess it was only available to me after I rocked him, but it should be available from here because I do this in real life jiu-jitsu. When I have someone in turtle like that, I roll them to side control. That's how I break their posture. So I really enjoyed seeing that. Anyways, right there's a fake. You see that? He's going to fake and then try to attack my head. And so I noticed that. And we're going to make him pay dearly for that. He's going to go fake, cross, and we're going to get him out of there. Watch this. I believe it's right here. Fake. There it is. And the fight is over. Yep. Fake to the body. A slip. And get him out of there. The reads, from time to time, they do work. But there you have it. Cain Velasquez Fighter Showcase. Very, not the Fighter Showcase I thought I would be doing, but in line with the current news and development, figured it was only right. It was only right that we did a Cain Velasquez Fighter Showcase. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, let me know in the comment section what you think about this whole entire story. Just give me your thoughts on it, and we'll go from there. But that's it. If you enjoyed the video as a whole, go right ahead and leave a like on it. It definitely helps out the channel. Wish Cain Velasquez all the luck in the world. And I'll see you guys later. As always, stay safe. Peace out. Have a good one, boys.